Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and finally it's time for the video I've been talking about for quite some time now. This is gonna be like the start of the 90s series, you could say, so where I basically rank my 10 favorite horror films from each year in the 90s. So obviously I'm gonna start with 1990 and work my way up to eventually the end of the decade, which is 1999. Now, once I've made this series or like these videos, I might consider doing a similar one for 70s films as well, and maybe 60s and early 2000s or whatever. But we'll see whatever happens when we get there. So, but anyway, these are my 10 favorite horror films from the year 1990. So yeah, here we go right away. Of course, some of these are going to be controversial. Some of these films you're probably going to say immediately, "Oh, how could you like this film? It's just a terrible, terrible film." But I mean, this is just personal opinion. Sometimes my opinions change on some films from time to time. So this is just how it is, as it is right now. So let's start this top list right here with number 10. And at number 10, we have a film which is very rarely talked about. This is like this is definitely, I would say, out of all of these films, this is the film which I think at least people talk about, which I think is a little bit unfortunate. But it's the 1990 film called Mirror, Mirror right here, with a pretty cool looking cover art right there. I really do prefer the original cover art, like the original like VHS release, which had like this girl standing in front of a mirror or something like that. I think that was really cool and really effective. Now this film, I mean, if that doesn't really tell you anything, it's basically about a cursed mirror, you can say. So it's about these people that, or like this family that moves into this house, and their daughter eventually begins this school and at this school, and she gets really like bullied, and she's really like picked on over and over again. So really the only thing she really does is to stand in front of the mirror and like just talk to herself basically, and then eventually she realizes that this mirror has some really creepy and eerie powers to it. So at first the mirror kind of helps her, you can say, in a way, to deal with her bullies, but then eventually, of course, it gets way worse. So yeah, I don't want to spoil anything else than that, but this is a very atmospheric and cool little film, I would say. It does have a little bit of similarities to some of these Amityville horror films, because there was another Amityville horror film which had like cursed like things, like something had like a cursed lamp and something had like a cursed clock. Now this, I mean, this one really reminded me of the Amityville horror, which dealt with the mirror. So obviously this is much better, I would say, personally. So yeah, but anyway, Mirror Mirror, if you haven't seen this one, check it out. I'm not really sure where you can find this, but I have like a really old Anchor Bay release of this one along with the three other films. Now the other films I wouldn't necessarily recommend if unless you're like a diehard fan of this one. Part 2 is decent for what it was, but part 3 and 4 are just really atrocious in my personal opinion. But go check this first one out though. This is really entertaining. So yeah, Mirror Mirror. And then the next one we have at number 9 we have an anthology film, and I think this is one of the most underrated horror anthology films out there, to be fair. And I'm probably gonna get lynched by this, but no pun intended, lynched. But I think this is more entertaining than original Creepshow. I'm not really sure what it is about the original Creepshow. I just think it's a little bit too long for its own good. This one clocks in at 90 minutes, so maybe that's the reason why. I'm not really sure why, but it's the film called Tales from the Dark Side. And this one had a really interesting cast as well. This one also has a pretty early role for Christian Slater. The wraparound story in this one, I would say, is really good as well. I mean, sometimes when it comes to the wraparound stories, they can be really silly, really stupid, but this one really worked for me. And then you also have great actors in this one, like Steve Buscemi, and you have what's his name? Always confused what the goddamn name of that actor is. Oh, wait a minute. It has, yeah, Julian Moore in this one as well. And you have David Johansen, who sadly passed away not too long ago. But the Tales from the Dark Side movie, I think this is really entertaining. I think this was either based on a TV series or maybe it was like it influenced the TV series. I'm not really sure what it was, but I mean, I've only seen this film itself, and I think this film is really entertaining. And for those of you wondering, this weird little creature right here is actually appearing in the film, so the cover art does not lie this time around. But yeah, Tales from the Dark Side, really entertaining film. If you do like horror anthology films, go check this one out. It's not the best one out there, but it's a very entertaining film nonetheless. And then at number 8 we have, I just grabbed this one because this was the closest copy I had, because I have this on DVD as well with another alternate cut or whatever. But it's Nightbreed, 1990, with Craig Sheffer. I have no idea what the difference is between this particular version and the older version I had before, which is like somewhere up there, I believe. But yeah, this one also has David Cronenberg in a role, which I thought was really cool. Obviously he's most famous for being a director and directing films such as the remake of The Fly, Videodrome, Existence, Crash, films like that. But I think Craig Sheffer is a really good actor in this one, and I really wish he could have been in more films in general, because it just feels like he mainly appeared in like low budget productions after like the 90s or whatever. So I think that's really unfortunate, because I think he's a quite underrated actor in general, and obviously I think his performance in That Was Then, This Is Now is also really good as well, where he plays along with he is the main character of that film along with Emilio Estevez. That's what I wanted to say. But this has such an amazing this like underground facility, not underground facility, but it's like an underground world, you can sort of say. So it almost feels like if you mix like David Cronenberg with like Jim Henson, if that makes any sense. It's a weird thing to describe it like that, but that's the best way I can describe it. And once again, all of these creatures out here are also appearing in the film as well, so that's really cool. So if you haven't seen this one, Nightbreed, highly recommended. Also directed by Clive Barker, I believe. So who's also the author for the film, or based on the book or whatever, or novel you can say. And then at number 7 we have a Animal Attack film, which I always recommend to people. I think still to this day this is the best spider-related horror film out there, to be fair. I don't think I can think of any other film, because most of those newer like spider films are just basically like really CGI, like garbage real in general. But this one is really entertaining, and it is Arachnophobia with Jeff Daniels, and this one also has what's his name? John Goodman, yeah, pretty early role for John Goodman, and also Julian Sands, rest in peace, such a huge loss that was. But this is one that I really need to watch, but I really appreciated the practical effects in this one. They were just so amazing, and I think they, from time to time, they actually used real spiders, obviously not the bigger ones, but you get what I mean. Yeah, really entertaining film. I think this is also directed by Frank Marshall, which was kind of cool, and produced by the now hated Kathleen Kennedy. So yeah, but anyway, Arachnophobia, if you do like Animal Attack films in general, if you haven't seen this one, go check it out. It is one of the best spider horror films out there. And then, this one you can almost argue, like, is this really a horror film or is it not? I would still say it has enough horror elements to it to call it a horror film, even though I would say it's more of like an action-themed horror film, you can say. And it is the film called Class of 1999, which is sort of like, obviously does not really have anything to do with Class of 1984, which is also like, is that really a horror film or not? That's maybe more of like an exploitation type film, but this one I would say has a lot of horror elements to it as well, like really good practical effects in it, like blood and gore effects. It's basically about this school that is just like run by these gangs, and it's sort of similar to the 1984 one, like the Class from 1984, that is, but in this case you have like the teachers are actually not really teachers, they are actually cyborgs, or like these like almost Terminator-esque type of creatures, so like you can see here on the front cover right here. So once the students do something wrong, they really get punished for it, and it's almost starting to, that's the weird thing about this as well, because these kids go to school, but on their spare time they kind of fight each other like in other gangs who are also like in the school, which does not make a whole lot of sense in general. But a really entertaining action-themed horror film, I would say, and a really good cast. Once again, this one has Stacy Keach in it, who plays like this really demented, like you could say, what is he, principal, I believe. And then you'll have Malcolm McDowell in it, and Pam Grier. Yeah, really, I mean, really entertaining film. If you haven't seen this one, give it a shot. I mean, obviously it's much more different than 1984, but yeah, really entertaining nonetheless. So class of 1999 at number 6, yeah. And at number 5 we have this one. This is like a double pack right here, but Child's Play, right here, Child's Play 2, which I'm almost saying is, I mean, I wouldn't say it is as good as the original one from 1988, but I think it is a very entertaining and cool sequel, especially for like I mean, one thing that just really sticks out for me in this film is the very end sequence where they like in the toy factory and just all hell breaks loose with Andy and Chucky, and like it's sort of like a really entertaining like confrontation between both of those characters. And yeah, you also have once again Alex Vincent as Andy in this one. He got replaced in Child's Play 3, hence the reason why I don't care too much for Child's Play 3. So, but anyway, Child's Play 2, if you have seen the first one, go check this one out. It's still really entertaining. I would say the first one is a little bit better, but not by much. But yeah, Child's Play 2. And then, I mean, you can always see people like really bashing on me for some of these picks I have right here, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. The next one, at number 4, we have Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Directed by the horror sequel master, you could say, Jeff Burr, who also directed Stepfather 2 and Pumpkinhead 2 and Puppet Master 4 and 5, I believe. Stepfather 2 and Pumpkinhead 2 are really entertaining films. I don't care too much for the Puppet Master films. I think those films were decent enough for the ones that Jeff Burr directed, but this one is definitely one of the better ones in that among those films that I just mentioned. And the thing about this particular film, I mean, obviously this is sort of like, let's be honest, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre like series is not really known for its originality, because it just feels like it's the same type of storyline over and over again, in like with other like characters, you could say. Now the thing about this one, I mean, as much as I like Leatherface in this particular film, the character that just really steals the show for me in this one is the character of Alfredo, who is supposed to be like the brother, I believe, of Leatherface in this one. It's just something really strange and weird about that guy, like that performance. I don't remember the name of the actor at this point, but I thought he was so freaky and so creepy the first time I saw it, to the point that I actually thought he was more threatening than Leatherface himself. And then you also have Ken Foree as one of the main hero characters in this one, phenomenal actor. And also you have Viggo Mortensen as well, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you have seen the previous 2 in this series before this one, definitely highly recommend, and really entertaining. And yeah, I don't want to know what else to say about it. I mean, but do make sure once you see this film, you watch it in the uncut release, not the uncut version, you could say, because this one, it says, in this particular DVD at least, it says original, uncut version, and then final cut. Is that what we call final cut? I don't know, but there's apparently like a cut version, but try to get a hold of the uncut version, because otherwise, why would you watch a film like this if you watch the cut version? It's just stupid. But yeah. Then at number 3, maybe the reason why I put this so high on number 3 is because I think this is one of the very few occasions where I actually prefer the sequel over the original one. And at this point, it is the film I'm talking about is the film Maniac Cop 2, with obviously Robert Sedar playing Matt Cordell like he did in the first one. Spoiler alert, yeah, he survived in the first one. This one also has Bruce Campbell in it. I mean, he doesn't have a big role in this one as he had in the previous film, but he's still there. And you also have, what's her name? Claudia Christian in this one. And Robert Davi as like this lead detective who's trying to hunt down Matt Cordell once and for all. And what else? Leo Rossi as well. Yeah, that's one thing that I really appreciate about this film as well. This is not really any big spoiler or anything like that, but there's actually like another guy walking around the streets of, is it New York, I believe? Yeah, the streets of New York, who is played by Leo Rossi, who plays like a serial killer. and he's actually teaming up with Matt Cordell, or like the Maniac Cop in this film. Some people just really don't like that at all. I thought that was a very entertaining and unique type of storyline for a film like this. I mean, some people would just despise it in general. I mean, I have a friend of mine who just didn't really like that twist or whatever at all. It's not really a twist because you kind of see that coming from the get-go, but I thought it was a cool way of trying to just do something else, to have this guy team up with another like serial killer or like another lunatic. So, but yeah, Maniac Cop 2, if you've seen the first one, check out the second one as well. I would say part 3 is the weakest one in that series. It's still entertaining for what it is, but I mean, part 2, 1 and 2, I mean, especially part 2 is just really, really entertaining. So, yeah. Now, on number 2, some people would probably say this is more like a thriller film. It does say horror on the back of this DVD, so yeah, I'm still going to keep it in this list. I've not seen this film in forever, but I never forget about it because it's such a creepy film, and you never can really explain it to people once they've seen it because it's a very complex film. But at number 2, we have Jacob Slatter from 1990, of course, with Tim Robbins, and I think this is one of Tim Robbins' best performances of all time. Obviously, he appeared in like Shawshank Redemption a couple of years later, which is also a really fine performance by that actor. But this one is just, I mean, for all of us people that really love horror films or like horror type of films in general, this is just, it's such a eerie, creepy. I mean, there's not really like blood or gore effects or anything like that in this film, but this film has such a unique and cool atmosphere to it. It just really pulls you into this film. I don't want to say anything about this film because this is one of those films that you really just need to experience yourself and just get caught up in the whole bizarreness, if that's even a word. But yeah, Jacob Slatter, number 2, entertaining film. It's very demanding, I would say, but it's still very entertaining. And speaking of entertaining, my number 1 is this. Once again, is this really a horror film or not? I mean, it is a creature feature, like creature alien attack film, you could say. So I'm not really sure they're even supposed to be aliens, but you get what I mean. And it's the very first Tremors film at number 1. This one has so much replay value to me, to the point that I've seen this film so many times. It has a nice blend of horror, action, and comedy. I mean, all these genres combined. And when you have a film which are able to pull all of these genres off in the same film, you know you've made a really entertaining film. And I think another reason why I like this so much is because I think the chemistry between Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon in this film is just so spectacular. And you have Michael Gross, who later on obviously like appeared in all of these like sequels or whatever. But this one, if you're ever gonna watch any of these films, check out this first one. It's really entertaining and really atmospheric. And I mean, I just feel like I'm a broken record at this point because I've been saying the same thing about most of these films. But it's basically about these guys that are like living in this town called Perfection, I believe. And one day they realize that these evil creatures are out to get them. It's as simple as that. And obviously they try to get rid of them and like kill them off. And obviously it just proves to be very, very difficult. I don't want to say anything else than that. I mean, the storyline is pretty simple, but it's just so effective. And I think it's just also because of the actors in this film who are like involved in this project. So yeah, Tremors, number 1. So there you have it. Those are the films from 1990, my top 10 horror movies from that year. Obviously, next time around, I'm going to try to... I mean, not for sure if this is going to be the next video or anything like that, but I mean, obviously, the next time I continue with this one, I'm going to continue with 1991, and then obviously work my way up towards 1999. So it's just going to be a really, like, struggle to try and find all of these films in my collection. That's going to be the biggest issue, I would believe. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this particular video, and yeah, thumbs up, leave a comment or two, subscribe if you want to, and keep your eyes open for the next one. So yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.